Right everyone, we're here at Celtic Park where it's very quiet, but around 12 o'clock on Sunday it'll also be quiet because the game's at Ibrox. I don't know what they're thinking. I mean, come on. We've got Asim here. He's a real person, everyone. He's not just a figure you see in the computer. He's come in real life. How you doing, mate?
Very good. Lovely day, lovely backdrop. I just buzzing. As soon as on the drive here, just suddenly got into match mode already. So looking forward to it.
We could have gone down to Ibrox, but we'd probably get bottled or something. So we're safer here.
I live near Ibrox as well. It's not a good idea.
I'm sorry to hear that. But no, I just wanted to get your thoughts immediately. And how are you feeling right now? Because it's been a hell of a long week. We were previewing this game 8 days ago, mate.
Aye, that's
how excited we've been for this. How are you feeling now?
Well, I think you got from the gist from last week. I was very confident, and I think as the week's gone on, I've just got the confidence has soared up even more.
Even
more. And in light of obviously just the press conference as well. The fact that we've got everyone fully fit, available, minus James Forrest. First time all season we've had this array of talent to call on, and I just think it's just set up really, really well for us. And I'm feeling very confident again. I know I said it last week, but it's not like me. Normally before Ibrox games, I something about it, but this time I just feel very much at ease and very relaxed and very confident that we're going to get the job done.
Because usually as time goes on, you get closer to the game, you get more nervous. Maybe Sunday morning before the game, you're like me, you'll be very nervous. But what is it gives you the confidence? Can you put your finger on it?
I think you'll have seen the clip of Ange as well from the cup final, the clip that's came out. It's stuff like that, because normally I would fear going to Ibrox a little, just in terms of the atmosphere, the home factor. Usually the home side has the advantage. Mm-hmm. But there was a line that he said in that as well, which was, "Don't be derailed by the chaos." And I think that just sums up Ange perfectly. He's got such belief in this group of players, such belief in his coaching, such belief in how we go about things. And Callum McGregor said it in an interview yesterday as well, where they're just so firmly set on how we play. And I don't think the atmosphere, I don't think the occasion will get to them. And I think that's where I feel in the past maybe we'll play the occasion, and under the likes of Lennon, his team talk will be about that. Yeah,
aggression and all that, yeah.
With Postecoglou, I think it's just different. I think he's got such a belief in the stuff that we work on in training. And I just feel, regardless of how the game might start tomorrow, and I think they'll come out fast, I just got a feeling that we'll be able to deal with any kind of things that go on in game as well, and I just have a confidence in this group.
They're really calm as well, and I've said that a lot in the channel. Ralston said it here when I spoke to him last week.
As a team, we're very calm, and we know we need to take each game as it comes.
I don't know if you've seen Ange Postecoglou's interview he did with Sky ahead of the game, but he's just incredibly calm, because I agree with you totally. I think we're going to go into this game and we're going to play our football. Celtic have been to hostile venues already this season, and we've played our football. Ferencváros was a tough one, Seville against Betis, Leverkusen as well, and in all of those games we've played our football and created chances. We didn't always get the result, but I feel like this team's come on a lot since then, and as you say, having all these players back is just huge.
Even if you look at the Ibrox game in August, like I think I seen it in the video that you had with Scott McDonald and David. Mm-hmm. At the time, obviously, we were disappointed, and the result didn't go our way, and we weren't brilliant in the second half. But if you watch that back, we were actually in the first half we were the better team.
Yeah, 100%.
And we've shown we can go. This group of players, obviously it was a completely different team then, but we've gone under Postecoglou there and took the game to them that first half. And I think, as you said, the occasion won't bother won't bother this group of players. So I feel that we'll go there with the options we've got as well now to come off the bench and really just. Scott said it in the video yesterday as well, the pressure is all on Rangers, and I think that'll play into our hands, because their fans are notorious for getting on their back if things aren't going the way they want early doors, and the options we've got to come on and maybe change the game. So there's a lot to be positive as a Celtic fan, and I don't think it's it's due positive. I think we can be positive and be rightly positive. I don't think it's a cockiness or an arrogance. I think there's a lot of room for confidence going into this game.
I need to give a shout out to my pal Stuart once again. He's getting too many shout outs in the channel now, but he comes out with these corkers. He just WhatsApps them to me during the week, and his thought this week was bench on Sunday: Kyogo, Rogic, Forrest, Abada and Turnbull. That's nearly 50 goals a season alone on the bench. I mean, that's the option Celtic have to change this game. Listen, this video today, obviously we've done a lot of previewing on the channel, as I say, jokingly, not really jokingly. We've been previewing this game for like 8 days, if not longer. Last night we had the live show with Stevie and John. Check that out above. But in terms of this video, we just really want to get you up for the match. You know, we've spoken a bit about what's going to happen. We're going to pick our teams, but I think mainly we want to talk about some memories from Ibrox, and we want folk to be, you know, punching their TV screens after we finish here, Asim. We want to get folk right up for it. We'll go on to the teams first of all, though, as we've already kind of touched on. We've got those players back. It's just James Forrest who's going to miss this game for Celtic. Ideally you'd want him around, but I think we would have settled for that a while ago before the international break. Team wise, I'll just give you my team there on screen. So Joe Hart in goals, Joe Sipjuranovic, Carter Vickers, Starfelt and Taylor, McGregor, O'Reilly, Hatate, and I'm going for the front three that I spoke about with Scott and David the other day, Jota, Maida and Gigi. What was any thoughts on that?
I'd love to spice it up and give a completely different team, but that's a team I've been saying to my mates.
You can't go for the same team.
I know. I was almost getting swayed watching the video the other day when Scott and David were on the side of going for Abada.
Yeah.
But I've been set on this. I think the way the three of them played, the Jota on the right, Maida on the left, and Giakoumakis up front, I thought they were brilliant against Ross County. Granted, it was Ross County, but I think the what Maida's going to offer with his pressing and his energy is going to be priceless for us in this kind of game, where I think it will be, you know, end to end potentially, and the pace will obviously one of their main threats is Tavernier, and having Maida occupy him. Jota, I think he'll have a field day, whoever's at left back. You know, I'm really confident about Jota for this game, and Giakoumakis up front. In terms of midfield three, I agree. The one I was tossing up was Rogic or O'Reilly.
It's interesting Rogic is back, isn't it? Because I really didn't think he'd be available.
The way Ange spoke when he said, you know, it didn't sound too great after the Ross County one, so that's another welcome boost, and what a player to have to bring on potentially as well. If he starts, I've got no issues with that.
Got O'Reilly ahead of him.
I just think O'Reilly, I do.
And you wouldn't play O'Reilly and Rogic?
No, not enough legs for this game. I think we've done it a few times and it's not particularly worked. I think it can work in certain games, but I wouldn't have that for this one. And I mentioned this last week's video. I think a curveball might have been Beaton. I know a lot of fans don't want it. I wouldn't want it, but I can see why he might opt for Beaton instead of Hatate.
Is that just more height?
More height, physical presence, knows the fixture, knows the atmosphere. Brought him in a couple of times, Livingston away. I know, again, completely different game, but maybe just a kind of trust issue with him, and like you say, the height, because that we don't lose a lot of chances. We don't give away a lot of chances, and a lot of their threat will be set pieces. And it might be in his thinking, but personally I would go with that same team that you've mentioned.
They play for set pieces, Rangers. You watch them and they play for corners and they play for free kicks, and that's something we're really going to have to keep an eye on, because that was what kind of outdid us or did for us at the game at Ibrox earlier in the season. What about Kyogo then? Is there any chance of him starting this match? Like, is there any chance? People will be, hoping that they're going to see this team at 10:30 and Kyogo's going to be on the left wing or up front.
I don't think left wing. I think if he starts, it would be up front. I personally don't see it. 4 months out, I just think it's nah. I think Giakoumakis has earned the start as well. And I'm not saying that out of like sentiment or anything like that. You play your best team, and obviously Kyogo is our best player. But if he's not played for 4 months, to throw him in a start in this game, I don't think it would be the wise decision. But to have that option to come on psychologically, to have him on the bench, I think is massive as well. You rattled off the players that we'll have potentially on the bench. That's 3 or 4 game-changing players, and we've not had that pretty much all season in terms of options off the bench. So for me, I don't think he starts.
Do you think if Kyogo is fully fit and Giakoumakis is fully fit and in this form, do you go for Kyogo? And I guess what I'm trying to ask is, are Celtic a better team with Kyogo rather than Giakoumakis?
Yeah, and that's no slight on Giakoumakis. That's a compliment to how good I think Kyogo is and how good he's been for us. And you've seen that when he came out of the cold for the cup final, didn't he? He was out for a few weeks, so I don't even think it's an issue with if he's been training for a couple of weeks, as rumoured. He'll be fit. I don't think that will be an issue. Match fit in a game like this, slightly different, obviously, with the kind of injury he's got as well. But fully fit Kyogo, I think, is our star man, and he plays. But I think we've been working with Giakoumakis the last few weeks, and we'll probably got a game plan with him in mind.
Yeah.
Unless Ange throws a curveball, he's been training with Kyogo this week while the rest have been on international duty. Have they got something in mind? Who knows? But yeah, personally, I think most people are expecting GG up front.
Yeah, I feel the same way. And listen, Giakoumakis was great here in the derby at Celtic Park. I mean, I rewatched that game, and his movement, the commitment, and the will to win the ball back when he didn't have it, something that Kyogo's rightly lauded for. Giakoumakis has that as well, and I think he could be a big player at Ibrox. I think if we create the chances for him, he is just in red hot form. He's probably arguably a better finisher than Kyogo in terms of when the chance comes, and when he doesn't have time to think about it, he's been lethal. I mean, he's got like 8 goals in his last 3
You've mentioned
starts.
it before as well. I think it was one of the guests you've had on that he thrives on chaos, and I think you've said that line a few times. And what more chaotic?
And Andrew was chatting about chaos as
there
well,
you go.
wasn't he? So
right.
it's all coming together.
Together.
Don't bother about the game. We've written the script here.
So I think it's the type of fixture that's made for him to become a hero. Like, he's been brilliant. He's had a great run of form, but imagine him getting a goal here and really announcing himself. I've got a feeling that he's going to get on the score sheet. I'll come to my prediction at the end, but that's part of it.
We could at this stage do the predicted Rangers team, but we're particularly snide people and very childish, so we're not going to bother with that.
Doesn't matter who they play.
You can go in heart and hand or something like that if you really want to know their team, or you can just wait till 10:30. I think that's a good point. It doesn't really matter. I mean, we'll do the business, so let's hope. Right, Ibrox memories, because as I say, I want to get on to this kind of stuff. I was chatting to you just before we started. You've never actually been to Ibrox to follow Celtic.
I've been to a semi-final against Dundee United, and this might be back in the 90s. I recall a semi-final at Dundee United at Ibrox. It might have been when Hampden was under reconstruction or whatever, so I remember that vaguely. I was probably about 7 or something at the time, but not been to Ibrox for a Rangers Celtic game. So, but plenty of good memories. Plenty of good victories in there. I'm slightly older than yourself, so and a lot of the viewers will be of different ages. So if I have to pick my favourite, Martin O'Neill first season in 3-0. It was the league was already won, but there was a significance behind this one. The year before, so my first kind of season going to Celtic games was John Barnes' season. Right. Not a great season. Followed by Joseph Englos' year, and they won the league at Parkhead that year, 3-0. They came and won. So for us to then the next year win the treble under O'Neill, we'd won the league convincingly. We were so good. That team under O'Neill's the best Celtic team I've seen in my lifetime. But we went to Ibrox and they beat us 5-1 earlier in the season at Ibrox. But there was just an arrogance about us that day that we just knew, and we put them in their place, and it kind of just made up for that year before. Lubo scored 2, Larsson got his 50th that season, and it was just a brilliant. Like, I think I was about 13, but I just remember it so well. I remember the kind of afterwards as well, that everyone was like, that Celtic team announced itself. Going to Ibrox, I think we hadn't won in 6 years. And it was just such a great day, and it was a nice sunny day as well, just to make it
always
even
helps,
better.
Exactly. Yeah, the sun always helps on days like that. The big victories always seem to be sunny for some reason in your mind. Obviously, the game, the 3-0 game here was a night game, but good choice. That was a Maloney goal with Larsson. Larsson with the goal, and Maloney was at the back post to tap it in if it hadn't have got in. In terms of me, I've got a few. I've been to Ibrox 3 times, 2 wins, 1 loss. So I was at the 3-2 game we had when we came back twice. 10 men. Edward
that was going to be my second choice.
The day the free Broom loan died, basically, and I was responsible partly for that. I was at the game at Ibrox earlier that season as well. It was a 2-0 win for Celtic, but it was more forgettable. It's never really spoken about that game, which just shows how the superiority we had over them. And a game that's certainly spoken about that was a 3-2 win for Rangers in 2012. I think the day we could have won the league. That was another scorching day, absolutely roasting.
It was 3 down, weren't we, in that one, I think?
So that was a horrible day. We actually came back nearly to get a draw with Scott Brown and Ronya, I think, scored. That game was tough, but the last 2 at Ibrox have won. In terms of other games, Sammy Sunday's probably one that people will love.
Yeah, I was thinking about that one as well, and I was trying to kind of weigh up in terms of, obviously we didn't win the league that year, did we? But if you're talking about the individual game, I think we went into it with a lot of injuries. They were overwhelming favourites at that point.
Mulgrew at left mid.
And
Paddy McCourt.
That's right. That's Paddy McCourt starting at Ibrox. that game, I remember, it was brilliant. And that was a really good season as well, wasn't it? I think you've spoken about that season,
Similar
and a lot
to
of people have
this.
said it's a very similar kind of feel. Let's obviously hope for a much better outcome, but it was a whole new team, a whole new group of players. We'd bought, I remember, was it Kyle had an absolute stormer that game? And obviously the two goals from Sammy, so that was another great one. From the Brendan Rodgers era, I do agree. The 3-2 was that the famous Douglas Ross red one? But it was, but I remember because they thought they were in a title race. I remember. I think
they'd convinced themselves. They were cheering and drawing us in the cup and all that.
So there was a right kind of arrogance about them at that point, thinking right, we're back, and I think we just put them in their place again, as that Rodgers side did so often. 5-1, that's another absolute humiliation, wasn't it?
I had a ticket for that one, but I was living in Germany at the time, so I didn't get to that game. Shocking. So many regrets.
So that was another belter, and was that probably the last one where, no, I think the 3-2 might have been the last of the away allocation. So plenty of good memories, plenty hopefully more to come, but those were the kind of ones that stuck out for me. The 3-0 back in Martin O'Neill's, and then the 3-2 I was going to say that you were at.
We have won once at Ibrox since we had the allocation reduced. We had that 2-0 victory. I think we learned in that game that as much as having the small away support is a disadvantage, definitely at the start of the match, I think it makes it much more difficult for the away side, and we've seen that in general in these fixtures, especially this season. There are certain benefits you can have, if you start well and you get that first goal, especially even more so with the game tomorrow, the pressure already been on Rangers and the Rangers support. Listen, they're having a great run in Europe, and their support are delighted with that, and they're mocking us for going out to a Wi-Fi password and all of that kind of crap patter. But in general, their one bad result tomorrow away from anarchy once again. I mean, we have a massive opportunity to do it for ourselves, obviously, get 3 points, move 6 clear, have one hand in the title, but also to really kick off the turmoil at that 100%. Club tomorrow. I mean, if we get 3 points at Ibrox tomorrow, they will be turning on every player there. They'll be turning on Ramsey, they'll be turning on Van Bronckhorst, and that's the chance we've got. 100%. I think Europe has really kind of saved Van Bronckhorst. They've been on his back for quite a while. Domestically they've been very poor all season, I would say. They've not really had a good spell of performances. They've kind of been iffy all season, and especially since the turn of the year, the amount of points they've dropped. And like you say, if it wasn't for these kind of rare European, like obviously they're turning up for the European ones, but if it wasn't for those, they'd be really on his back even more so. And like you say, it's one defeat away, and they'll be on his case, and they'll be behind the team at the start. But if we start well and get a foothold or get a goal, or just kind of even 20 minutes in and we've got more of the possession and we're having a go at them, you know what they're like. They'll get on their backs, and like you said, having that small pocket of fans will be heard, even if it's a small pocket. If they're not boisterous and loud at that point, and I just. The thing for us is we're in such a good place and a feel-good factor with the fan base, and they're on the edge. On the edge, like it could all go so wrong so quickly for them in a space of a couple of weeks. It's a good way of explaining it. I've thought of this for a while. They're very erratic. They're going from great results. And let's face it, beating Dortmund, brilliant. I mean, I would kill for a result over 2 legs. Beating Red Star 3-0 at home, brilliant results. And then they're kind of wilting and domestically, and they're dropping points at Tannadice and at home to Motherwell. We are very different. Our ceiling perhaps hasn't been quite as high, but we've just been like rock solid, apart for those 2 games against Bodo Glimt. Since that Livingston defeat in September or whatever it was, we've been rock solid in the league. And I think going into the home straight of the title race, that is what will hopefully come to our advantage, that real consistency that we've built in this team.
It's mental as well. I know I said it last week on the channel, but and I think a lot of fans have kind of came round to this way without saying it. We're 1 game away from one hand on the trophy, and I know
I'm starting to get round to that.
The thing is, we've been stung before, and we've had past seasons, but I just can't see it with this group, that if we were to get into that position of being 6 clear with the goal difference, and with the run-in, you look at the fixtures, like it'll be four of the last 6
4 of the last 6
at home. And then the away ones won't even be Tynecastle or so and it's mad to think that going into the winter break we're 6 points behind them, and now we're sitting here thinking
we're facing all these brutal fixtures, and tomorrow's the last of them.
Is the last, exactly, and now we're literally 1 game away from pretty much being able to start, it's that stage of the season where you can start then, if we win, working out which game it might be that we can pitch.
Don't say that, we need to wait till Monday for that. That's Monday's video.
But it's just it's such a good feeling, because I just didn't at any point in this season, I've loved this season, but it's always just been like, we're getting better, we're progressing, how's this going to work out, buying into it and all that. And then come the turn of the year, even when so it was 6 points, but even when we got ahead, I don't think any of us were like, right, that's it, we're going to win the league. We thought, right, we've got a great chance now, we've got a good chance. And then even just looking back at the Hibs game, when we dropped that, we were a wee bit down, but straight away we got picked up with their result, and since then we've not looked back again. And it's brilliant to be in this position. It's a really good position to be in. And it's another thing I think as well is, regardless of what happens on Sunday, obviously we're hoping for the best. I'm confident of the good outcome.
Yeah,
I'm still confident regardless of what happens that we can still see out the rest of the season, because I think for us it's not a must win, and I think we'll go out and look for the win, but it's all on them, and the pressure's all on them.
I've seen some people in the media saying it's a must not lose for Rangers. I think it's a must win for them. I think that, put ourselves in those shoes, we'd be looking at this as almost your last chance saloon to get a result. Right, the moment's come, Asim. We want your prediction. That's it, really. I was about to say something else there, but the time has come. I'm
going for a 2. I think they'll score, but I'm going for a 2-1 Celtic victory. And I think GG's going to be. I know you love his one-touch finishes, and I think this could be, what is it, number 12 or 30? I don't know.
No, he's got 12.
So 13. Then there you go. I've got a feeling he's going to be a hero.
Love to see it.
And Starfelt for the 27 subs.
I've got loads of people saying that they're expecting a Starfelt goal. All joking aside, so am I, everyone. So let's hope he can net. I've been kind of toying with this. I honestly think it's the thing everyone says before these games, but I think there's going to be so many chances. I really do. I just think they're going to come out flying. We're going to come out flying as well. I mean, this idea that Celtic are going to have to stem the tide early on, I actually think Celtic will come out and look to actually play in the front foot like we do in Europe. You look at all those European games, we've scored the first goal and an early first goal as well. I think we could potentially see that again. I think both teams will score. I'm going to go for a repeat of the 2018 game and go 3-2 Celtic. I think it might be really tight in terms of the scoreline, but I think there'll be lots of chances and goals in it. Those are the other predictions from the rest of the guys at 67 Hail Hail there. I've actually no idea what they say right now, as I've not actually asked them yet at the time of recording, but I'm going to put my faith in the wonderful people and say that we've all gone big in a Celtic win. And I've just referred to 67 Hail Hail as the people there, so it's probably time to sign off, everyone. What's your plans for watching the game?
So not got a ticket, so it'll be a kind of family affair. My brother's over from Dubai just now as well, so he'll be around. My 3 nephews, they're big into it as well, so with the family. I'm currently fasting as well, so Ramadan, not currently, but Ramadan starts this weekend,
right?
So I won't be able to enjoy some food and drink with it, but later in the evening we'll have a feast to celebrate, definitely.
Hopefully you're celebrating a result at that stage.
How about you?
Yeah, me and Stevie are going to watch the game at afterwards. We'll be doing the reaction as well. Hopefully there's smiles on our faces for that. You just never know what way it's going to go. Hopefully we've managed to get you up a little bit for the game. As you said, the reaction coming tomorrow. If you feel that you want loads more content between now and kick-off, we'll check out any of our videos from the last week. We had Johan Mjalby on earlier in the week, we had Scott McDonald on, we had the live show we did last night. You can even go and watch me and Asim a week ago and see how much more up for it we are now. Enjoy the game, everyone. Fingers crossed for a massive Celtic result. Take care and hail hail.